Okay, Qaisra, one thing when I was going through your profile, I found that you studied like English literature and that too classical aspect of it. I don't know what inspired you to go for that.
Right. Interest. I loved reading books. I loved reading novels. And I studied literature at school, and that inspired me to read more. And I thought, I want to study this. So I, obviously, because I lived in England, I was studying English literature. I went on to study literature. But afterwards, I started to then do American literature, European literature, Russian literature. I specialized in that. Classical civilization was part of my degree course. And it was great because now as a writer, it's all helping me to have read Greek authors, Roman writers, as well as Italian, as well as Russian. So it's helped me, and I enjoy literature anyway.
Would you mind explaining a little bit of classical civilization?
Yes, yes. Classical civilization is the ancient civilization of Greece and Rome. So it was basically, I was reading about literature, about their architecture, about their painting, their sculpture, their history. It was all about the civilization, like Egyptology. So that would be about Egypt civilization. I actually studied the Greek and the Roman in the old days, and it was fascinating. It really was.
One more thing, why I'm asking all these questions based on my experience dealing with women of present era. I found that you have got multidimensional things, like you have been a teacher, you have been a counselor. Then one thing which made me think, wow, and that was journalism.
Right.
Today, you know, like journalism is, again, by itself is a very deep subject. How you manage all that?
Well, I'll talk about managing all that later, but journalism is one strand of my writing career. In fact, it's not a very active career because journalism is hard work. You know this as yourself. You know, you have to have deadline, you have to do research, you have to do all of that. So I have done it, but I've only done it not in the normal journalistic sense. I've done it by feature writing only. Writing articles where I'm commissioned to write them, or if I have a topic I want to talk about or write about, and I will send it to the publisher, the newspaper, and if they like it, they will publish it. So this is how I manage it, but I could not become a full-time journalist. Otherwise, I could not write books, I could not do my education work, I could not deal with the family. So I'm not a full-time journalist, part-time journalist. I only write when I want to write, which these days is occasional. But I started off as a journalist.
Okay, if you allow me, can I go a little U-turn and see who is Qaisra?
Who is Qaisra? Well, Qaisra, first of all, is a mother. I have 3 sons, mashallah, and I'm proud to be a mother. And for me, if people ask me about my writing, and I say, look, and they say, writing is your life, I say, no, writing is just one part of my life, or one strand of my life. There is a bigger, wider world that we as human beings live, and I live it like any other human being in that bigger, wider world. Part of me is the domestic side. My 3 sons, my husband, and then my own family. I have brothers, I have sisters. They live in Manchester. We meet regularly every Saturday, just as your family does. They come and go. There are functions, there are birthday parties. There are always family functions. For me, my books are important, but family is even more important. So I'm not publishing books every 2 years because I just don't have the time, because I've given priority to that. Also, I have sons who are in education. As a mother, I find it very, very important that you're on top of your children's education, that you are there for them. You know, I still enjoy giving breakfast to my sons Saturday morning, Sunday morning. 2 of them are studying away from home, one studying in Birmingham, one studying in London. They come back on a Friday. And what do I do over the weekend? I'm going to pick them up from the station. I'm dropping them off. I'm cooking meals for them to take back with them. I'm doing their washing, drying it. I'm looking for their socks, looking for my whole weekend goes with my sons, and I want to do it. I said, this is the time for my children. At the same time, unfortunately, my mother died 7 months ago, and my life has dramatically changed. So if you ask me, who is Qaisra now? The Qaisra now at the moment is a woman who's sort of distressed, mourning the loss of her mother. So I have changed dramatically in the last 7 months. You see, all this is nothing. When you lose someone you dearly love, it makes you focus on the reality of life, mortality. What is it like to die? And you realize, we are going to die soon. What have I done that my mother has done more? But it also now has had other knock-on effect on my life. For example, my mother's gone, my father is there every day, and if you ask me what do I do at 5 o'clock, well, every day between 5 and 8, I travel 5 miles out to my father's house, and as a loving daughter, I'm the nearest companion he has. I sit with him, we have meals together, we spend time together. So that is my life at the moment, and that will be my life for the next few years as I want it to be. So in a way, your life changes with time, with your commitments, and I have these strong commitments. Similarly, I have a husband. I want to spend time with him. I'm touring the world because of my books. I'm doing everything else, but my role as a wife is important. My role as a mother is important. My role as a loving sister, who's the eldest in the family, trying to keep the family together, is important. And all of these have added dimension to my life, and I have to give time to all of that, but it's very, very important part of my life, more so than my books. Would you not agree? Family life is #1 for me.
Wow, amazing. This is what I wanted to hear from you, but this is really, really amazing part of your life, because most of
it's the most fulfilling part. It's the most important part. Without your children, without your family, what else is there? Work is very important. As a woman, I love working. I have careers. I'm, successful, this and that. But I think without that other part of your life, it's not so important.
Yeah,
you need that balanced combination. I think one of the questions you're going to ask me with that, for me, that balance, especially for women, is very important. You have to juggle your life in a way that you're fulfilled as a woman. You do want to work, you do want to gain achievement, but it's no use just running after a career at the expense of your marriage, at the expense of your children. You have to deal, and for a number of years when the children were young, I worked part-time only, so that I could be there for my children. And because I worked in education, it meant I had holidays at the same time. So it's like saying, I need to make time. And then for the last 2 years, when my mother was ill, I became freelance, where I could stay at home so I could go and visit my mother. So you have to adjust. You make, and a lot of women are doing that. But it is hard work. It's not easy. Especially, remember, because I live in the UK, you don't have any servants. You do everything yourself.
Wonderful. How you know that I'm going to ask this question? Actually, you helped me.
I've answered one of your questions already.
Yeah, the question, it was just bubbling out, and this was one of the most important questions, because
people ask me that a lot. They say, how do you juggle your life? And I say, look, I have compartments in my head. There are 3 big compartments. One is family, one is writing, and one is education. Now, family life is a daily thing. At the moment, I'm on a tour. My family is forgotten for the moment. But when I go back, they take over. Shall I talk about education? Or?
Sure. Anything. Before we talk about the education, ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a short break. And once we come after the break, we'll explore more aspects of Qaisra's personality. It's a wonderful thing to know that she is the one maintaining balance, and which unfortunately most of the working women as of today are not doing so. And they say that they are career women, but career at what cost? Should we go for making a career or making $1 million house at the cost of our own family? Surely no. And that's what she said. Once we come back, we'll have more good things from Qaisra. Let's take a small break.